Here in Louisiana, the first sign of cold weather means it's time to bring down the roux and gumbo pots. Mark Huntsman states in his article, History of Gumbo, that gumbo has become one of Louisiana's most famous dishes and a cultural symbol. Gumbo is a thickened, dark soup that contains meat, vegetables, and seafood. Growing up in Louisiana, gumbo is a very common dish, but for people out of state, it is a tasty experience. Today, I'm going to explain a step-by-step process on how to make chicken and sausage gumbo. Let's begin by discussing the preparation of the ingredients. Before the cooking process begins, you must first prepare all ingredients for your gumbo. You will start off by chopping up 2 large onions and setting them aside. If it is easier, you can use onions and bell peppers that are already chopped up. Next, you will need to chop up 1 pound of smoked sausage of your choice. Then it is time to prepare the chicken. I personally choose to use boneless, skinless thigh meat. It helps to eliminate extra fat and grease from your gumbo. If you prefer, you can use bone-in chicken that contains the skin. After the chicken is prepared, you can then choose your seasonings and set them aside. Now let's take a look at the steps for making the gumbo. The first decision in making your gumbo is to decide what kind of roux you would like to use. You can make your own or choose to use a powder or a jarred roux. Roux is a mixture of equal parts of oil and flour that is used as a thickening agents for gumbos and soups. To make roux, you will need to heat up oil in a large gumbo pot. You do this by adding the oil to the gumbo pot and heating it over medium to low heat. Once the oil is hot, you can then add an equal mixture of flour into the pot. You will need to stir the flour and oil mixture slowly and constantly over a medium and low heat until the roux is a chocolate color. Once the roux is the color of chocolate, it is time to start adding ingredients. The first ingredient you will add is onions. Cook the onions for 5 minutes or until the onions become wilted. Once the onions are wilted, you may then add your sausage. Cook the sausage for another 5 minutes over medium to low heat. After the 5 minutes is up, you can then add 12 cups of water. You will need to make sure the water and the roux mixture combine evenly. Bring to a boil over medium to low heat. Cook this water and roux mixture for 1 hour to make sure that it is fully combined and that it creates a tasty gravy and is thickened. While the gumbo cooks, you can begin to further prepare your chicken. You can pre-season your chicken with any seasoning that you like. I prefer to use Tony's. After the gumbo has cooked for 1 hour, it is then time to drop your chicken in the pot. Once you drop your chicken in the pot, you can cook this on low heat and simmer it for 2 hours. One of our family traditions is to crack eggs into the pot of gumbo 30 minutes before it is ready. This allows the eggs to boil in the gravy and makes them very flavorful. Just be sure not to stir for 30 minutes until the eggs are cooked, or you will end up having scrambled eggs in your pot. Let's take a look at the last steps for preparing your gumbo. While the gumbo cooks, it is time to cook your pot of rice. As Stanley Dry states in his article, A Short History of Gumbo, everyone agrees that gumbo must be served over rice. If you're from Avoyelles Parish, you would most likely say that a freshly baked sweet potato is also a must. After your gumbo has cooked for 2 hours, it is then ready to serve. So serve the gumbo over rice in deep bowls, and be careful not to burn your tongue. Although I've only explained how to make a chicken and sausage gumbo, this dish has no limitations. Mark Huntsman states in his article, History of Gumbo, that muskrats and owls were used in the olden days if that was all that was available. Feel free to experiment, but I'm going to stick to the traditional chicken and sausage gumbo.